Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to share my screen and the presentation for today's session. Let me go to the first page. And can one of you confirm if you can see my screen, please?
Still not visible.
The screen yet? Okay. Okay. And you still see my screen, right? Yeah.
I can see you not.
Yeah.
Screen
Now,
sharing has started. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Now the screen is visible.
All right. So now, do you see the screen?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, great. All right, then. Welcome, everyone. We'll get this session going. And thank you for the great introduction and everyone. So let's get going on that. So as you see here, the Project Management Mentorship Program Cohort 1. So this is what we are just starting. And may I request you to mute those of you who are not talking, can you please mute? So we are starting this the day one or the week one for the project management mentorship program cohort session. What we are going to talk about today is I'm going to explain how the program is going to be structured, what we are going to talk about, why project management mentorship is important, why you should be part of it, and for those of you, can you please, someone who is unmuted, please can you mute yourself? So I'll go to the screen, next screen. We have already talked about who you are, why are you attending today? So probably this is something we have already talked about, but specific to the mentorship, we'll come back to this screen in a bit, right, if required. So what is the why we are doing this program, or why this program we are starting? The major goal or motto for this program is to remove bottlenecks from the projects, bring clarity, and achieve goals. So basically, this is that the work that you're doing, the projects that you're implementing, we want to learn strategies where we are able to learn how to remove bottlenecks, bring clarity, and achieve goals. Yes, Faisal, Rafi, you were about to say something that you raised your hand. Ji, Faisal. Okay, let's continue. So we want to remove the bottlenecks, bring clarity, and achieve goals. So that is kind of an overall motto for this program. What is the end goal? Like what we want to achieve? We want to transform the way you or your teams approach a project. So basically, there are various ways to approach a project. There are various ways to approach your work. I know you all are involved in somehow or the other in a project management world, or you want to learn about it, or you want to practice it, but somehow or the other, in one way or the other, you are part of projects or project teams. So the end goal of this program, which is going to take us, like, it's initially for 6 weeks, but we can certainly, it's between 6 to 8 weeks, depending upon the participation level and level of work that we would want to deliver. But at least 6 weeks I'm looking at. And by the end of this program, I'm looking at that you would be transforming the way you or your team approach a certain project. So we learn around some of these strategies, some of the practical techniques that I have learned over the years in different industries, and I'll try to share with you that knowledge and the some industry standard that we can follow. And I'm sure some of you who are already PMP knows or preparing for PMP know the book knowledge. They know the how things work as per the methodology, but there are certain things you need to do hands-on so that you learn from them. Um, so again, what is in it for all of us? Like, there's an increase in productivity and fewer risks. That's what we are hoping, that the new projects we are going to implement, they are going to bring more productivity, fewer risks when we are implementing using those standard or structured product processes, right? So this is kind of overall overall kind of our goal, motto for this 6 week program, and we want you to go ahead with that. Any question until this point? or comment. I'm just going to see that. Okay, there's no comment.
Faisal, so fewer risks, right?
Sorry?
The word fewer risks. Few risks.
Yeah.
Now, just can you elaborate a little bit more? That what exactly it means here?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this means that whatever project you do or whatever you work, there are always risks associated to it, right? So there is always risks associated. And these risks could be, like, for example, you are doing a project currently and you're doing it in an informal way, and there are like 10 risks you have identified, right? So in the future, when you follow a thorough process, you might end up having 2-3 risks. So we cannot say that there will be no risk, but we can always say that there will be fewer risks. So that's what I meant to say, right? Did I answer your question?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So
Faisal, just
yes.
a question. The content which are going through is applicable in all the industry, right? IT, hospitality, construction, oil and gas. It applies to everywhere, right?
Can you say that again? Sorry, there's a lot of distortion in there. Yeah. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. I mean to say the content which you're going through right now,
Yeah.
this is applicable to all the industries, whether it's IT, construction, hospitality. It's
Yeah,
the same
absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. This is the standard methodology that certainly we would want to learn, which is applicable to all these sectors. Absolutely. And again, one other request, please, when you're not speaking, please mute yourself. Otherwise, I'll have to do it. Okay. Thank you. Any other question? Okay, let's move on. Coming to some of those questions, and I'll try to answer those questions here. Amar, you asked, and especially Azim. How do we define mentorship? We have already talked about it, but anyone from this group, can you define for me what is mentorship?
Maybe someone you follow spiritually.
Yeah, this could be one.
My understanding mentorship is a coaching, kind of coaching. It's formal in a way that a mentor will be from the respective field and have the particular knowledge of that particular field, who can guide you, who can mentor you, and you will be mentee who will learn, who will do the projects, and practically you will apply the knowledge and use the knowledge and gain the knowledge from your mentor. And then accordingly, you will use it in your own current situations and in your practical life.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you for elaborating it. Any additions to what Nadeem has said already about the mentorship? Okay, so mentorship is absolutely what Nadeem said is absolutely right. It could be done in various settings. It could be one-on-one mentorship. It could be group mentorship. It could be mentorship on an individual basis. That could be mentorship at your organization level. So you can ask within your workplace to get a mentor. You can ask someone it in your friend circle who are expert in that field where you want to learn. You can ask them to mentor you. You can find an organization where people volunteer to being mentor. You can also yourself sign up as a mentor in your own field, and then you can be a mentee, which is always a good sign. So which is always good to have a mentor in your life. So whenever whichever field you're doing, I think mentorship plays a big role in whatever setting you would have you are working. I think the mentorship is something very important. So do you agree with this idea, all of you, that mentorship is important and plays a huge role in people's development?
Definitely.
Okay, great.
Yes,
How about anyone else? Okay, let's move on to the next screen. So this mentorship program, which we are going to discuss, is based on PMI methodology. Those of you who attended the career path session yesterday have gone through this little bit, and those of you who are preparing for PMP or have learned PMP already, or are certified, they know this. Basically, this whole methodology of PMI is based on these 5 process groups. So project implementation, how we are going to learn, through a structured process, like going through initiation, we go through planning, monitoring, controlling, executing, and closing. So this is kind of a structure as a group we are going to follow. So this whole exercise or mentorship program is going to start with these 5 basic process groups. So just to walk you through what initiation is, the goal of this phase is to define the project. So very easy, right? So you define the project. So you start with the initiation, and then during this phase, what is the most important document that we prepare? I'll ask you, Zan, I want to put you on the spot. What is the document we prepare in this stage?
This charter.
Yes, absolutely, Nadeem bhai. Yes, absolutely. It's the project charter. But getting the project charter is not that simple, right? So it starts right from the initiation stage, right? You come up with an idea, then you do a briefing note, depending on which organization you work, you do a bit of a scoping and a high level of scoping and defining what the project is. Then you move into the project charter development. And do you think at this stage, any comment that when the project manager is brought on the project, when is the PM brought on the project based on your experience? Which phase the PM is brought in? Anyone?
during the starting of the project.
Yes, absolutely.
Once the idea will
the project to as a project manager.
Sorry, can you say that again? Can you please say that again? Nadeem, you were about to say something?
Yeah, my understanding is once a sponsor will come with the project, the first thing they will do, they will create a business case and then assign the PM so that they can move forward and do all the documentation and take over the project and guide in respect of the project management and fulfill all the requirements. So the manager, PM manager is assigned in this initial stage.
Yes, so yeah, absolutely, initiation stage. So I'm sorry, I was coordinating with Faisal Rafi. He's having difficulty joining. So Amar, I know you are joining from Pakistan. Can you please help him join as well? So he's facing that issue of he's unable to unmute. So he's part of that PM mentorship group in that WhatsApp group. Amar, please, can you coordinate? Okay. Let's keep going. So the next phase is planning. This phase includes developing a roadmap for everyone to follow. So once we have the idea initiation done, we have a project manager assigned, we go through a project charter, then we go to the planning. During this phase, what are the key documents that we do? We'll talk about that. Then comes the executing and monitoring stage. And in this stage, the project team is built and deliverables are created. Then project manager will monitor and measure project performance and ensures it stay on the track. Then there is a closing phase. So the project is complete and you do the overall kind of closing, etc. Formal in closing, like in our world where we work, we do a financial closure, we do a status closure, both. So formally, informally, these are kind of the overall 5 process groups, and that is how they look, right? So this is the standard methodology we would want to follow. I'm just going to bring a spreadsheet, not a spreadsheet, so rather a document up if I can find it here. And I just want to show you how these process groups are distributed as per the PMI knowledge chart, right? So we have, and I'm not going to go into the details of there are knowledge areas, there are project process groups. So as a project manager, especially if you are working in the to achieve your CAPM or PMP, you need to remember this thoroughly. So process group and knowledge areas, you would see knowledge areas on the left side. You would see process group, and please mute while you are not speaking. Can you please mute? And then the project process groups, you would see that initiation, planning, executing, monitoring, closing. So we'll talk about those process groups. We'll come back to them as a reference point, but it's not that we are going to stick to them. For example, this is something we just talk about. So initiation, project charter development is the first one, right? And we are going to practice that document. So it's not going to be that we are going to do everything here listed, but we'll talk about that. We will certainly, what we are going to do is, we are not going to start with the project development charter. We are going to start with the scoping. So we'll start with initiation of the idea. We'll do the scoping. So either you bring a project or I'll assign you a project, but we need to have a project in order to practice, right? So we will identify an idea, a project. We'll start with the scoping, as we said, and then we built that into a project charter, a brief one. You come up with a template, or I provide you a template. We can, or I will provide you a template. You can make amendments to that, right? So this is the major thing we'll do. Then we move on to the project work breakdown structure or plan development. Then we move on to defining the tasks in between, and then we are into the implementation and monitoring the tasks, and then we are at the closure. And then you would see here, this is the plan stakeholder engagement or identifying stakeholder. This is done right at the start as well, right? So once we are into initiation, you would see initiation, right? This one, this one, the first one. You would see within initiation, you do the, once you're done with the charter, or at that time, you also do the stakeholder analysis. Similar to planning, you would see what you do in the planning. These are all the things that you want to do. Then executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing is basically one thing that you do. It's a closure of the project. So that's kind of a process. I just wanted to let you know this is I'm going to follow, and we are going to run through that kind of a process flow, right? So moving forward, and I'll give you a chance to ask questions. Give me a second. Basically, it is that if you can, there's a statement that, and I know, I think that Faisal is really trying to log in, but someone in the group can help him, like Nadeem, if you can, or Amar. His number is within the our group cohort, and if he's unable to join. Yeah, okay, Amar, thank you. I see you have already helped him, trying to help him. Okay, so if you can film an idea in your mind, follow that film idea shot for shot, scenes for scene, that idea is worth making. So basically, that is how we would want to start, that you want to put an idea in your head and then come up with an idea. That's where we are going to start our journey with the ideation stage, right? So this is kind of a very unique program which is offered in the industry on a very higher price. But this is something I want to give back to the project management community, and I want to give back to newcomers to Canada. I want to help them get into the project management world, and also to help them structure their project. So that is basically the program. So what's in it for you as a mentee? You will gain advice from me, who have been in project management from past 25 years. Last 10 has been in senior PM role in the IT domain. So it was in Canada. So I have worked with several teams. I work with them on a daily basis. So thorough knowledge of project management practices, processes, and how they work in the actual world. And then certainly when we talk about, we can also talk about your career options, how you would want to progress within the project management world. And then I want to make sure that you are building your skills enough that you can tackle the challenges of project management field. And then of course, as I've said, walk through the same road that you are already on, or you are starting on. So this is something we can work together. We can walk this journey again together. And then there are, as I said, there are many practical tips that I've gathered over the years that I can pass along, I can share with you guys. So that is about the program. And if you guys would want to come along in this journey with me, I would be, I think that's going to be very exciting. And any question, I'll let you know. I'll let you ask any questions that you have.
Oh, my question is, Faisal, would we follow the PMBOK 6, or would we follow the coming month 7?
We are not going to follow the PMBOK. Basically, it's we are going to follow the almost the structure, of course, of the 5 process growth, whether it change in 7 or 8, but this is something of a standard that I showed you. This is the standard we are going to follow. But for now, the reference point is 6. Until 7 is going to be important for those who are going to who are planning to write their PMP exam in the coming months. Like, for example, if you are planning to write your PMP exam in next few weeks, you are good with this 6 one. But with the 7, introduction of 7, for sure, if you are planning to write in next few months, then 7 is important. But for now, our focus is not going to be PMBOK. It's mainly focusing on how we structure project and how we go through the process groups in a structured manner and learn to run that project through that process.
Can I make a comment, please?
Yes, please.
I don't want to get ahead of you, but I think the first meetings are great for clarification of expectations. So if you do have a slide on what is expected from the mentees, we can go through at that time. But while you're telling us what is in it for us, if you want to elaborate on what is expected from the mentees, what kind of work commitment, what kind of output, collaboration, respect, etc., that would be great.
No, thank you. Great. That's a very good point, and I certainly wanted to talk about that too. So expectation is that you are ready and willing to sign off and commit yourself to 6 weeks at least. And I said it could be stretched to 8 weeks, depending on the progress of the group and how they complete their project. Because the assignment is to go through the whole process and come up with a very small project, right? So if that is so, number 1 is the commitment. So the commitment is you join this weekly call, we come here, we discuss things. So how the program is going to be structured, you join the program, we come up every week. For example, I assign you tasks, you go back work individually, work as a group, and then come back next week with your progress. So that is how we are going to learn. So this is the commitment required. So number one, you have to attend these live calls. Number two, you have to spend at least 4 to 5 hours a week to complete your work. For example, there are 8 people, there are 6 people. You are going to be assigned in 2 groups. So one group is going to take one part, the other would take another part, or both of you get the same thing. Like, for example, if we have one project, we can assign things between. But if there are 2 teams of 4 people on one and 3 on one, and you want 2 different projects, this is the strategy we can go with, and then you work on it together, right? And you come back every week, present it for 10-15 minutes. I give feedback, I provide feedback, you go back, correct that, and for the next week also do your homework. So that is something how it is going to be, and this is the level of commitment required from you. And thank you, really appreciate Akhtar Bhai for bringing that up, and so that I had the opportunity to explain it thoroughly. So
Thank you very much, Faisal sir.
Yeah. So anything that any one of you would like to know more? So we start the class next week, this week as well. This is our class. We still have few minutes, and we had some glitches at the start of some logistical issues, but hopefully next week it will be resolved. But that is any other additional questions from anyone?
Yeah. When were
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead. Yeah, just notifying your hand is raised.
Okay. So where were we in that project process groups? It started with the number 4. What was behind that?
Sorry. It's just the numbers. So
when it's just a number.
Okay, got that. No, don't worry about that. So there wasn't anything before that. It's just the numbers. So don't worry about that. So it's just they have this sheet probably they have and yeah, Zan, can you help me out? Or Nadeem?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, there are initial 3 chapters which tell about the project management and how the process groups are, what are the terminologies and that kind of stuff that is included in those first 3 chapters. So chapter 4 is where the project integration and management starts, and then so on, like these knowledge areas. These are the chapters which numbers are mentioning about the knowledge areas.
Yeah, so basically you want to learn basics on project management. So basically all those chapters will talk about what is project management, what is program management, what is the difference between project and operations, right? So this sort of a basic knowledge stuff. So you learn about basically what is project management, how it is different from stakeholder, the operations, etc. And then you move into project integration management. And thank you, Nadeem. Anything else?
Thank you.
At what point would we decide whether it's going to be a 1 project for all 7 or whether it's going to be 2 projects? Because I had a suggestion about it. If it's too early for now, we could leave it, or if you want to bring it up to the table.
No, it's not too early. Akhtar Saab, it's basically, the thing is that it really depends who is giving their commitment to be part of this group. So if we have a commitment, like for example, we have like 8 people today, including me. So if you move me out, we are 7 people basically. So if I have a commitment for now from 7 people that yes, this is something they are willing to commit to for the next few weeks, then it seems like it would be a better option to take 2 small projects. So in my opinion, but certainly depends on the group, but this is the commitment once everyone commit to it. So if I can ask you, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think we have already talked about it. If you think that this is something you would want to be part of going forward, you can let us know now if that is something
Sure.
okay for you.
I would want to make a suggestion, and again,
Yes, please.
end of the day, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
make it a call, or maybe if you want to run it through everyone, that's fine
Mm.
too. I think working on one project is a better idea with couple of advantages. A, it provides a level playing field to everyone. B, if for instance, even in one project, if you think seven or this number is greater than how you were the workload, etc., then we could have two groups working on the same project. That way, in between, we can compare notes, see where the weaknesses
Mm.
are, whose strengths are. But if it's the same project for everyone, then it kind of gives us the opportunity to okay, so the challenge was exactly the same. How did we
Mm.
come up with different approaches? Which approach at the end worked better, etc., etc.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I totally agree with you. And as I said, I'm fine with the with whatever the group would want to come up with. This is something we want to go through with the consensus, and this is a great idea, having one project, and then we can divvy up two people, two groups in between, so that if one is working on, let's say, charter development, the other can work on the stakeholder analysis, right? So we can certainly work around that. But if there's a general consensus between the group, if everyone is happy, they would want to continue this journey forward, and they would want to continue on this program on a single project, that would be great. But one thing is, either you are in, either you're out, right? If you're in, you're in, you're out, you're out, right? So this is the commitment we need from you. It's just that if you decide you want to be part of this project, I want full commitment, right? So if you are in, you're in, you're out, you're out. So no harm saying that we cannot commit to it. If you say that, would totally be fine. So it's just that we need to confirm on that, right? So I see someone dropped, so I'm just double checking who actually dropped from this call. So
Then
Zan dropped. Okay. Yeah. So was there any message in the chat? Okay.
no message.
Okay, so there's a message from him. Okay, that's fine if he had to leave, but I'll follow up. So rest of the group, if we have a commitment from everyone, I believe those who are on the call, if we have commitment from everyone, I think we can certainly discuss the project ideation.
Mr. Faisal, pardon.
Yes, please go ahead.
Are you getting me right now?
Yes.
Because I established connection right now, only few seconds back.
No,
So
unfortunately.
yes, because you said someone to help me, and connection is fixed now. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So that was Faisal, right? So he's committed, I know. So this one, I know almost all of you are already have signed up for this. So I'm just going to make sure, I'm just going to see. And Rizwan Bhai, are you willing to be part of this journey along with the group? I know the rest of the group, they have already signed up. So what about you?
I'll get back to you shortly for this.
Okay,
Faisal bhai.
that's fine then.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of the ideation, I was talking to Nadeem, and Nadeem, I would want to give the rest of the 4 minutes just to you to talk about some of the ideas. Remember, like we had a quick chat yesterday, and there were some ideas that we can bring up. So if there's a group consensus, we can bring up a project. But as far as I understand, and I recommend, and then you can certainly decide based on the group that is available. I was thinking maybe to start with the IT project, right? So, but I'll leave it to the open to the group that which domain we should work in and which idea we should be working on, so that we can start to work towards that.
I think IT is a wonderful idea. I'm not an IT professional, so I don't have a bias to it. But IT affects all projects in so many ways, and I think it is now encompasses almost everything in hospitality, construction, in healthcare, everything. There is a very strong component of IT, and I think for all of us to benefit, it would be great. That's my personal opinion. If somebody wants to disagree, that's absolutely fine. But I think IT would be great because of such a critical role of IT in almost every sphere of business.
Yeah, that's what I was also thinking. So, any other opinion, thoughts?
Yeah, that will be fine. I would say it could be one. Like my suggestion will be, let's have a two group. The reason is that there is a big time difference. So coordinating with the group and working, that will be on a regular basis. That will be little bit difficult for the time zone. So if we can have two groups that way, it could solve that problem. The other thing is, if we all will work on just one group, it will have less exposure for us. With the two projects and two different projects, we can have different perspective. We can have different idea sharing, knowledge sharing as well. So I would just take a couple of minutes and elaborate. So what is a project? So project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or services or the results, right? So that project has definitive beginning date and end date. That is what we have to consider and we have to look into. As Faisal bhai was saying that to mention, like we are normally afraid, what is project? Is it our field? It is not our field. How we will manage the experience, and will our experience be counted for? So when we look at the attributes and examples of the projects, so project could be planning a wedding ceremony, that could be a project, or designing and implementing a computer system, that could be a project. Then it could be a hardware project where we have the networking all the office. So that kind of thing, even holiday party, that could be a project as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, that is it. I would say we should not take it hard on that side. And with the passage of time and with learning facets of, we will cope up and we will manage that difficulty and overcome that.
So in terms of let me get back to your first comment, Nadeem. So as a project manager, I think this is the skill that we need to learn as well, like working with people on a different time zones, especially once you are in the global project management. This is the most souted after skill, like people would ask specifically in the job description if you have managed teams on a different time zone. So this is something as a PM we would want to learn. So I just won't want to waste to weigh our grouping based on time zones, right? So that is my opinion, but certainly others can chip in. And the other is if there's an agreement, I'm hearing Nadeem, you are more in the favor of having two groups so that we can also learn from each other. Excuse me. And then present, although we are presenting the same thing, but there's always a new perspective to it. Even if you and me are given the same idea, we would present it differently, right? And bring up different perspectives. So I agree somewhat on that. So, but I'll leave it to the group, the team members to decide, and they can also add what they want to do and how would they want to go forward with that. So we commitment. So I know let's have a vote. Akhtar has said one project.
थोड़ा सा क्लैरिफिकेशन फैसल भाई अगर मैं चाहूँ नदीम साहब से नदीम साहब आप ये कह रहे हैं should it be two projects two groups or one project two groups?
No, he's saying two projects two groups and you are saying one project two groups.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, so you so that's the difference.
Yeah. Excuse me, I would like to add one thing here.
Yes.
If we make two groups, So one project should be of technical nature and the other should be of non-technical, administrative, and like that. This is my suggestion to you people,
Okay.
so that we can have better understanding in both the domains.
So when you say administrative, can you elaborate on that? And
For
technical.
example, we want to procure something.
Mhm.
So for procurement, we can have a complete project line. So how we will procure, how will we advertise, what type of people will be involved in this stream, and the things like that.
Okay. Okay.
And
Mhm. So basically, it's not going to be procurement because procurement is operations, but the how do you procure and what process to follow? Yes, that could be one option. Yeah. Any other opinion?
If you say that, I would like to say that if two teams do two projects, but of similar nature, I think it would be more easier to get on the same page later when the results come out from those two projects.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the understanding is concerned of both the teams.
Okay. Okay. Any other opinion?
So Faisal bhai, let me just clarify a little bit
Yes, please.
why I was thinking and what I was thinking. So why I was thinking two groups is the reason that, like, if there is one project in IT and another project in non-IT, maybe it's on engineering side, maybe that will give us the opportunity to learn on different perspectives. Like it will, my thought process was it will be more learning and more exposure will be there. But I'm fine either way, team will decide, I will be on.
Okay. Any other opinion before I come up with what I have, I wanted to say? Okay. So what I have planned and what I actually was envisioning it, how we do it is that we will have two groups. We will have one project. One project is going to be focusing on IT. For example, this project is that we are establishing we are establishing a data center, we are establishing a network, for example, right? So for example, we take an easier route, we do establishing, we have to put in computers at few locations, and we will work on that idea. I'll provide you a little bit of a guideline. And one aspect is one team is responsible for project management, and one team is responsible for the vendor management, which also includes procurement, right? So one team is working solely on project management aspect, like project planning, project charter development, doing the KPIs, coming up with the task, setting up the timelines. And the other team, those who are also they are doing the procurement planning, they are going to see who the vendor is, how they are going to shortlist the vendor, when they are going to procure, how they are going to coordinate with the team, project team, and so that they are ready for testing and validation. So this is the idea that I think we should be taking forward. One project, two domains, two different teams working together, but will be accountable for different sections of the project. And we focus on IT. Do you agree with that?
Very low voice. I think someone was speaking.
Okay, so do we have an agreement of what we said, what I said just?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So one Nadeem is like Nadeem bhai agreed. Who else?
I'm fine with it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the more it is out of our comfort zone, the better it is for all of us, because we all have our own capabilities in engineering or in whatever field we've done work
Absolutely.
for last 10, 15 15 years.
Mhm.
So I think this is something which none of us has core competence in, which is good, and which would be a stretch. So I think it would be a good learning working on a project which you have not dealt with
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I agree.
I
They should.
would certainly send that out, a bit of the project concept, and then I will suggest three. And once I hear back from you, Rizwan, that you are in or you're out, then we'll decide which team you would go. But if I ask you about your preference, you would want to go in the project team or you would want to go in the vendor management team?
Most of the project.
A project, okay, so that is your preference. So the rest of the team will have to, of course, divvy up 4 and 3, or maybe if we are 8, then that is how it is. But for now it seems like 3 and 3, or it could be 3 or 2 or 5 one group, but really depends if we have a commitment from. I'll follow up with Zan as well, and Rizwan will also let us know soon about his availability for the next few weeks. But going forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a brief idea. Now I will discuss with you guys, or I'll email you rather, and then we'll divvy up the team. In the meantime, this process, you would refine that idea as well. Like, I'll just provide you a kind of a high level idea, but the task for the group would be to refine, to work on it a little bit, and then I'll also assign you a little bit of task. So remember that once you are on a group, for example, if I put 2 people in together, for example, and on a different time zone, 3 people, then you have to certainly coordinate with each other. I will have this, so only Akhtar Bhai and Rizwan, you are not part of the WhatsApp group that we have created. So I have only 4 people on it for now, like Azim, Amar, Faisal and Nadeem are already there. Akhtar Bhai, I'll add you there. And then once Rizwan, you confirm, I'll add you there as well, so that it's easier for us to manage and coordinate. One request though from you guys, please have the apps, WhatsApp on your phone or on your desktop, so that it's easier coordination. I have, based on my experience in the past few days or a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, it's really sometimes people don't check emails. So with this group, the expectations, along with all the expectations, that you have to come on time, attend every meeting, let your group members know if there's an emergency, and emergency can happen anytime, but please let the group know. And your time and my time is way too important, right? So if I'm spending that much time every week here, I have an expectation that you would reciprocate, as well as you will come in on time. So more coordination, better. So please have the email apps on your phone, so that there is an email, it popped up, so you would see. So regularly check your email. Provide that email which you are going to check regularly, so that when I email you, I want an urgent and immediate response, right? I don't want to wait for a day or two just to get a response on WhatsApp. Even if you have read the message, you have nothing to contribute, you need to say yes or no, right? So these are my expectations, that at least you are following up on the discussion. So that is kind of what the expectations is. And I know we are 10 minutes over, and I want to conclude that meeting. And before we sign off, please, any final words? And then before I forget, Faisal, Rafi, I'm going to send this recording to you, so that you can follow up and listen to some of the background discussions that you may have missed. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Just a quick comment again,
Yes.
based on our experiences.
Yes, please.
If we can also clarify the expectation of what would be shared on email and what would be shared on WhatsApp group, because usually it's a mix of both, and then one tends to miss at least one thing in both the
No,
platforms.
it's a mix of both.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I think communication and coordination and all those things are good at WhatsApp, but if there's a project charter, some documents to be shared, probably email is a better option.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I'll leave it for
absolutely.
you to decide. And
No. This is what I said. I need you to provide me one email that you would check very regularly, right? Because majority of the communication on documentation sharing is going through email. Absolutely right. And thank you for bringing that up. So the basically key notices, information coordination, meeting, time sharing, etc., could be done through WhatsApp, but the expectations should not be that we are sharing documents and all that on that group, right? And then on the side, one thing else to add, on the side, for example, once we have the group formed and there are 3 people in one group and 2 in one or 3 in one, and you would want to form your own communication channel, you are more than welcome to do that as well. Or you can follow the same PM mentoring cohort group and communicate there, but whatever the preference is. But for now, I think we are good. And I will put an idea together. I will send that tonight to you guys. And I am hoping the emails that you have provided me are the one that you are going to check on a regular basis after every hour, a few hours. But to start with, I can certainly remind you on WhatsApp group that the message has been sent. Please check your emails. But I'm not going to do that for long, right? So I can do that for start, but this is something as a PMs you need to learn as well, that project management is a world where every second matter and you need to be on your toes all the time, right? So you need to respond right away quickly. So this is the skill we also need to learn, right? So that is why I'm just trying to push you guys toward that. So any additions, comments, please, before we sign off?
Thank you very much. It was lovely.
Great.
I would like to say thanks for the opportunity, and I'm confident that we will benefit from this program. And just a small question in respect of should it be fine if we can set up a Google Drive, or so that we can share something like all the things over there, our documents, whatever we prepare, we will just post there and everyone can